Forgive my genes. All of us who work on this show, including me, are living out of a suitcase. Sorry, I forgot. Anyway, all right, here are some of the largest cities in America by population, some of the largest metropolitan areas in America. There's the New York metro area, of course, with a combined population of 19 million people, larger than the population of all but 4 states in our country. Then there's the Los Angeles metro, with almost 13 million people. There is Miami, Florida. There's Boston, Massachusetts. There's the San Francisco Bay Area. There is Seattle up in Washington State. There's San Diego. There's Tampa, Florida, and St. Petersburg area. There's Baltimore, Maryland. There's the Virginia Beach area, that metro area including Norfolk. There is Jacksonville, Florida. And, of course, there is New Orleans. So pop quiz. What do all of these large American cities have in common? You can cheat by looking at this map. What do all of these large American population centers have in common? The answer is that all of these major American cities are right on the edge of America, right on the coastal edge up next to the sea. Now, you could also add even some more major cities to this list if you wanted to. Places like Philadelphia or Washington, D.C., or Houston or Providence, Rhode Island. Those are all sort of coastal cities, too, in the sense that they are near the coast and they're on waterways. But just for the sake of argument, let's not even include those. Let's just be narrowly focused here, talking narrowly about big, populous, major metropolitan areas that are right up against the sea. If you add up the population of these cities on America's coastal edges, the population of just this America is more than 63 million people. That means more than 1 in 5 Americans. It means roughly 1 in 5 Americans. 1 out of every 5 people who can call themselves American lives in a metropolitan area that is right directly on the coast. A population roughly equivalent to all the people who voted either for John McCain or Barack Obama in 2008. One entire side of the voting population in this upcoming election is the portion of our country that lives on the edge. As we continue to cope with and rescue people from and now recover bodies from the impact of this one storm on the most populated part of America's coastline today, the governor of New York State has been again and again trying to draw people's attention to this not being just one event, but a challenge for the whole country, that events like this might now be happening with increased frequency. Not just in New York, but in all of these heavily populated places that before now had a fairly predictable relationship with the body of water, with the ocean that they abut. What if that predictability, that balance and expectation developed over the past couple of centuries in these cities on the water is now over? Mostly this gets talked about in terms of the politics of people denying that climate change is a real thing and big policy debates over whether we should try to stop climate change and global warming. But whether or not that political debate ever gets resolved in the political arena, it may be getting resolved otherwise, as officials responsible for the 60 million Americans who live on the edge of our country are just starting a practical discussion about there being a change in the frequency of extreme weather.
Look, climate change is a controversial subject, right? People will debate whether or not there is climate change, whether or not it's a cycle, whether it's global warming. That's a whole political debate that I don't want to get into. I want to talk about the frequency of extreme weather situations, which is not political. The frequency of extreme weather situations is way up, right? We just went through Hurricane Irene just over a year ago. And there's only so long you can say, well, this is once in a lifetime and it will never happen again. And then it happens again. And then we say, well, this is once in a lifetime. Now, really, for sure, it's not going to happen again. And then it happens again. I joke that every 2 years we have a 100-year flood. I believe it is going to happen again. I pray that it's not. I believe that it is.
Because of this storm, we are experiencing a particularly nonpartisan moment in American politics. You got the president touring the disaster site today with a Republican governor who previously had nothing nice to say about the president. But today they are obviously working together and working together well. There is an expectation that people will put political fights aside for practical problem solving at times like this in our country.